Well, I thought it'd be good to go over a good way to approach doing card spreads and what a card spread is doing and what's important about to find out about things in a card spread. And so it's just a good, effective way to look at what a card spread is and what you're trying to accomplish by having it. It's not just a pattern on your table. That's really the least important thing. What order the cards are laid in are not really that important either. What's important is what those positions mean. Positions of a card spread are meant to be issues that whoever made the spread is thinking these are important issues to look at no matter what the question is. What's nice about cards, so it's a template. It's really what it is. Meant to be able to ask helpful issues to your question. And what's nice about a card spread is because if you want to analyze anything, you got to be able to break it apart. And that's what a card spread is doing. It's breaking your question apart into different sections. This allows you to focus on different aspects a lot easier. And this is the way the mind works anyway. So the mind works this way, and it allows us to change something in the situation in a helpful way a lot easier than if we're looking at it as a whole. And this is the way the mind thinks anyway. We've all had situations where people call us, friends of ours, and tell us something's going on. And an example would be, let's say a friend of yours just got laid off. And so he calls you on the phone and says, I just got laid off. And you'll say right off the bat, well, what happened? And so that's, tell me what's going on with this. And then you'll look into things like, or he'll look into things like, what options do I have for more work at other places, depending on what type of work the person did. How much money they have to fall back on until they find work. And they can even look at things in a bigger picture as far as maybe seeing this is a time in my life where I can maybe make a change in my career. Maybe the purpose of this whole quest of what I'm looking at now might be to change my whole of what I do. All those are different sections. What opportunities do I have coming in the future? What kind of assets do I have? I'm a tradesman. Let's say I know places that could be looking for my work. Those are the opportunities. What I'm going through right now is evaluating money, time period, options I have. I'm calling different people to find work or to evaluate my situation. I'm seeing it pretty level-headed. It's not the end of the world. And the timing right now is just to evaluate what direction I want to go into. And when you talk to the person on the phone, or if you're talking to them, those are the things you could be going over just in conversation. Kind of what's your plans? Have you called Joe? Have you maybe you're married or you're not married? Are you single or you got is there another income coming into the home? These are different sections of this whole thing. You just change one of them. You got a whole different scenario. Maybe an opportunity down the street. Go apply. Or maybe I'm thinking about changing careers. Maybe I should look into that. Whatever you do there, whatever you change, if you just change one thing, you take your question and you blow it apart in all these different sections. You change one of them. When you put that all back together now, you have something different. So a card spread is looking at your question in different aspects of your question. That's before you even lay a card into it. Now, you don't see a card spread on the table but the reader knows I'm going to do a Celtic cross, or I'm going to do a horseshoe spread, or whatever the spread is going to be, gypsy spread. That reader knows those position meanings before any cards are laid into. Those are the things we're going to cover in this reading. That's what the reader is thinking. And if you look at a lot of the older spreads, like I said, because we didn't really know what we were doing with the tarot reading, we never really updated anything, because you can't update what you don't understand. So here's the Celtic cross. And here's what I have as far as meanings. Position 1, this covers him. It's just a general atmosphere of the situation. Position 2, this crosses him. This is opposition, or the opposite, a duality of the situation. Opposing forces could be. Position 3, this is beneath him. This is basically what that's saying is what's already happened. So it's basically your past. Position 4 is what's behind him, what has recently happened. So position 3 is what's already happened, but position 4 is what just recently happened. That's beneath him and behind him. Position 5, this crowns him. This card represents something that may come to pass in the future. This is something I never really liked for me. This crowns him. Something that might come to pass in the future. Something that might happen in the future. Because position 6, this is before him. This shows something that will come to pass in the future. So position 5 is saying this might happen in the future. And position 6 is saying this will happen in the future. And then position 7 is the fears that the client has about the situation. Position 8 is family influences about the situation, family and friends, how they feel about it. Position 9 is your hopes. What are you hoping to attain here? And position 10 is the final outcome. Also taking into consideration all the other cards. So to me, this is, I felt that over the centuries, we could fine tune. And so I did fine tune. And mine doesn't look into those things. What I look into is what the question is, how the client sees their own question. I look into what immediate things what actions the client's taking right now. Are those the best actions for them to be taken? Lots of times when things come into our life, we go into panic mode and we start doing things that we shouldn't. Maybe we're just got to think first. So we can question that. What immediate goals are they trying to accomplish? What's first things first here on this position 4? Position 5 on my spread, Celtic cross spread, is something the client's got going for them, something they could use to work for them, an asset they have, something they have that will benefit them as they try to move forward with this quest. Lots of times they don't realize it, or they're not using it to their fullest extent, or they don't even realize it would be helpful. So it's for the reader to point that out to them. Position 6 is an opportunity that they need to watch for that's going to help them with this quest coming up in the near future. Position 7 is how the client's seeing their own question. Position 8 is the timing of the question. What I mean by that is what things need to be in place before you move forward. So this helps with other positions. These all interact with each other. Position 9 is the purpose of the whole thing. What are you trying to attain? Why do you want this in your life? What do you think it's going to get you? Lots of times the things we're going after right now are not going to give them position 9. They think they will, but they don't. And if they think about it, they think, no, maybe not. And position 10, I just like, I don't like to say final outcome. I like to say fine tuning or details, things that you could expect to happen along the path of these other positions that might be good for you, might be bad for you, things to keep an eye out for. And you could also look at it as what you could expect as far as a result at this stage of what we've covered so far on your quest. To me, that's a lot more helpful than the original quest. But one thing to keep in mind is you have a positions of a card spread. You just change one of those aspects. I got here 7 positions. You just change one of them. When you put this all back together now, because of that change you made in the one position, you got a whole different situation. As a reader, you're going to find that lots of times one card, one position is really taking over the importance or your focus, because this seems to be the most important factor right here. Follow that, go with it. If you want, throw a couple more cards onto it. So it's not going to hurt you. So you find one real useful dynamic piece of information in any one of those positions. That might be all they need to do. So lots of people starting out, they think, okay, you got to collect something like a Celtic cross. You got 10 positions. I got to find something prophetic here. I got to prophesize here for all these different positions. No, you find something useful for one, and it changes everything for that person. And they walk away from your table with a whole new sense of what is going on. And the one thing I got to change, or one thing I got to accomplish here. And the rest of it's just insight, details, and that kind of thing. So I don't care what the card spread is. You are breaking the question apart into sections. And if you want to refine those questions, the position meanings, go right ahead. They're outdated, a lot of them. They're classic, though. And I think we could find more meaning in our readings if we update those position meanings to something that's more for the world today. And you can try that on your positions and do a couple readings. Maybe you fine tune it from there. You do a few more readings, you fine tune it again. And after a while, you're going to find yourself saying, well, I'm throwing this out and I'm adding this in, and I'm throwing this out and I'm adding this in. I'm going to fine tune this over here. And you do some more and you start to shape it. And then after a while, you got something that you're consistently doing the same with. It's working. Then you just continually doing that same process, same position meanings for the same spread. And pretty soon, you know, you don't even have to think about them. You just know what they are. And it starts to work out very well for you. Positions of a card spread are real, and they're there before you put a card into them. They're not just a place to lay a card. They're a part of your question. The card you place into there, into each position, is just meant to show you ideas that you didn't think of before you placed the card in there. Really, you could do a reading without any cards. Just go over those positions with your client and say, you know, so what's going on with you? What are you doing about it right now? What do you got going for you? What are you planning on for the future? How do you feel about this issue? What are you ultimately trying to attain? You could talk about these things. But more than likely, you're not going to find any real answers, because if you could figure it out without a reading, the client would already do that. So now that you've addressed these positions, the meanings of them, then you throw a card into those position meanings to find new answers to that position and to that position. And the card is conceptually blended with the meaning of the position it's placed with, forcing you to find new ideas. And you walk away from your table with ideas you never thought of before. That's the creative thinking technique known as conceptual blending. And it's very, very powerful. And it's why the tarot is so effective. I go over that in my books. Genius, Essential, Bare Bones, Radical. I talk about that in all of them. So anyway, I hope you like this. Keep throwing cards. We'll talk soon.